Let me start by saying that the people always associate aging with old age. That's not the case. When we talk about an aging, it is not an accident, it's a process. So when you become a young, you have age compared to childhood. When you become middle-aged, you have probably age compared to your young age. So aging is a process. It's a chronology of your increasing in terms of number of years of your life. So we should not confuse always aging with old age. People always say that बुढ़ापे के साथ में aging को synchronize किया जाता है. That's not the case. Aging is a process. It's a process of life. The second aspect is, before I start talking about that, whenever we talk about an aging, we always talk about age plus age. There are two aspects of aging. Both starts with the word or the letter age. One, we talk about a healthy aging. That means you cannot talk about an aging without a healthy aging. And when we talk about a healthy aging, we are talking about not only the physical health, we are also talking about the mental health, we are also talking about the emotional health, we are also talking about the psychological health, all types of health. So health doesn't mean only that I'm physically fit, I must also be mentally agile, I must be also psychologically fine, I'm emotionally very stable. So that's one part of the aging, that's a happy aging we talk, a healthy aging we talk about. And there's a lot of focus on the healthy aging today. I don't know how many of you know, the United Nations have declared the decade of 2021 to 2030 as a decade of healthy aging. That means they wish the people to be healthy, the elder people to be healthy, and so on and so forth. So that's one part of the aging, that is the healthy aging. Another part what the Swamiji was talking about, the happy aging. Healthy aging and the happy aging, they are not mutually dependent on each other. You will be healthy, you may not be happy. You will be happy, you may not be healthy. So we are talking about mainly about the happy aging rather than healthy aging. But let me also say that you cannot talk about the happy aging unless and until you talk about the healthy aging. So they are not dependent on each other, but they are associated terms. So whenever we are talking about an aging, we are talking about, coming back again, that whenever we are talking about an aging, we are talking about that it's in terms of the chronological age we are talking about. And whenever we are talking about an aging, we are talking about that it's a combination of an healthy aging and it's also a combination of an happy aging. And we also have along with us Dr. Rao. Dr. Rao, who is one of the founding trustees, very less visible, but one of the founding trust of the Marital Foundation. Myself, Dr. Rao, and the other gentleman, Saurabh Das, we sat down together in 2016 and started conceptualizing the entire MRL group. But MRL is not the subject of topic today. The subject is more of an aging.
So for the next year, how do I go down?
Yeah. When we talk about any academic presentation, we always start with what is called learning outcome. That means by end of the 30 minutes, what we are going to learn. Two things actually. We appreciate the importance of happy. We develop some strategies, some tools of how to be happy age actually. See, let's try to understand that the aging is a reality of life. Whether you like or not, you will age. It's very complex of life journey. And let's try to understand that not many reach this far. That's very, very important part of it. That you should be happy that you have reached the age of 50, 55, 60. Because many people, they leave the world much before that. Life expectancies in many parts of the world is still today as low as one. If you go to some other countries or the African countries, life expectancy is only 40. Whereas lucky in India, the life expectancy has gone up to somewhere in the age of 37, which was at the time of the independence, and today we have gone to the age of 69, 70. So therefore, what I'm trying to say, hardly 8 to 10% of the people live up to that age. It is majority of the people, they die much before. And therefore, that we are quite happy that we are chronologically at a very mature age actually. And the last part is, if you look at the alternative, what is the aging alternative with the death? So you must be happy that at least you have reached an old age. There's a very old adage that old age is not so bad when you consider the alternative, because alternative will be death. So whatever the time of the life we have got in the elderly life, it is better to stay happy rather than remain unhappy. That's a philosophy of life, and that should be the philosophy of life. क्योंकि जिंदगी छोटी है, जिंदगी बड़ी नहीं है. हम जो जिए, हम जो जिस एज पे लाइफ में हैं, 50, 55, 60, 65, very few people reach to that age, and they remain healthy. They also remain happy. And therefore, let's try to remain as healthy as possible, as happy as we can. That should be the motto of the human life. That's what I'm trying to say. Please stop me anytime when you like. It is a state of mind. Healthiness is a state of mind. You know, it's a more of a concept. Swamiji was talking about that. It's a more of a concept of your well-being. That means away from everything, away from the disease. It's a concept of more of a well-being. And we have got 5 pillars of well-being. I'm not going to that, but essentially we are talking once again the mental well-being. We are talking about the physical well-being. We are talking about the psychological well-being. We are talking about the emotional well-being. We are talking about the spiritual well-being. So the more of a story of a well-being. And it's a more of a contentment. That's the other word of happiness. It's more of a contentment a feeling of contentment that I am okay. You know, a happy person, you know, if you look at the pyramid of a happy person's life, a pyramid of a happy person's life, the person says, I am okay, you are also okay, we are all okay, my family is good, we are all okay, my nation is okay, the whole country is okay, the whole society is okay, the planet is good, the planet is okay, life is good. That's the spirit of life. That's the spirit of the life, and that's the spirit of the contentment what we are talking about. That's the spirit of the happiness what we are talking about. Are we feeling that? Or I always say that I am sad, you are sad, I am happy, but you are unhappy. You are unhappy, I am also unhappy. You know, so I spread a feeling of unhappiness, or I get a feeling of unhappiness. The vibe of happiness in any age is essentially that I feel happy with myself, others feel happy about me, I spread the positive vibe to other people, the others spread positive vibe to people. People do good to me or a bad to me, I always say thank you, I am grateful to you. So that's the spirit of the happiness, and that's the spirit of the life what we are talking about. That's the spirit of the entire human being. अगर हम सबको ग्रेटिट्यूड करना कर दे, सबको अगर थैंक्स बोलना शुरू कर दें, अब छोटी काम के लिए सबको थैंक यू बोलना अगर शुरू कर देते हैं, probably the entire society premise will become different. Entire the premise of the society will become the bitterness which exists in society, the social divide which exists in society, the religious, I mean to say the hatred which is in society, the entire thing will go away. The moment I talk about the thank you very much, you are great, I am great. You follow a different path, I follow a different path, but you follow your path nicely, I follow my path nicely. Let us remain peaceful with each other, let us remain grateful to each other. The planet is too big for us to live. The planet is too big for us to live. If we think like that, the life will become completely different than what we have today. That's what we're talking about, the spirit of the well-being and the contentment. You know, we always must have a very strong sense of a positive attitude. And that's the concept of a happy aging, that unless and until I have a positive attitude, and that positive attitude, there are 3 dimensions of the positive attitude. Past is gone, I should not have regret. You know, past is gone. The past, I can't change it. I wanted to do this thing. Had I done this, I would have done this. I might have become an IAS officer. I might have done such great things in my whole life. So the past को आप undo नहीं कर सकते हैं. किसी भी हालत में आप नहीं कर सकते हैं. So let's not regret about the past. That's what our positive attitude. The starting point is that I cannot regret about the past. I should not regret about the past. I must not regret about the past under any circumstances. That is the first pillar of the happiness. I must be happy as of today. That today, this moment is a beautiful moment. I am sitting in this room, enjoying this room, the air conditioner of this room, the food of this room, the aura is of this room, the coffee of this room, the tea of this room, Prakash Bharati of this room, Mr. Modi's room. I mean, this is a beautiful place I am enjoying today. So every moment, every life, the present I must enjoy. That's the second stage of happiness. If I'm not happy with today, I'm not happy with this moment, I cannot be happy anytime in my life. And therefore, every moment of the life should be happy moment of the life. It's very difficult. There are difficult moments of the life, and it is extremely difficult to be happy in an unhappy moment of life. You know, I'm trying to now become an academic that in an unhappy moment of life, if I say that we remain happy, it's not possible. Idea is that look at that unhappiness, go above that unhappiness, and try to be happy, and try to remain happy as much as possible at that particular point in time. In an unhappy moment of time, it is very difficult to remain unhappy, it is very difficult to be happy. You know, but if you submerge in the ocean of unhappiness, you will die with the unhappiness. So we always say, in an unhappy moment, so can I move above that unhappiness and try to be as composed as possible so that I can be as happy as possible in a moment of unhappiness. That's what I'm talking about, that how to be happy as of today. And I must have been happy about the future. Future is uncertain. Nobody knows. Swamiji told that future got a beginning, has an end. So I may die today, I may die at this particular point in time as I'm talking. I may die tomorrow. I may not be the world tomorrow. So why should I be worried about everything? That kal kya hoga? Kal kya hoga? You know, everybody at a particularly old age like my age, I'm more than 70 today. I'm talking about at my age, I see my friends, everybody. They are extremely unhappy, they are extremely concerned, they are extremely worried about tomorrow. Not only about the finance, about their health, about their children, about their grandchildren health even. I mean, they're extremely worried, I'm talking about. But there is no point in a world, I mean to say, if you really want to remain a happy world, you know, आप आए हैं, आप जाएंगे, दुनिया थी, दुनिया है, दुनिया रहेगी, जब तक बिग बैंग खत्म नहीं होता था। स्वामी जी ने बोला बिग बैंग से दुनिया शुरू हुआ था, फिर एक बार बिग बैंग आएगा, दुनिया जाएगा भी। लेकिन वो कब जाएगा मुझे पता नहीं, एस्ट्रोनॉट अभी आ सकता है और आकर डिस्ट्रॉय सकता है वर्ल्ड को, वो दूसरी चीज है, लेकिन अनहैप्पी होने से कोई फायदा नहीं है। So whenever we talk about happy, we are talking about don't regret about the past, happy be in this particular moment, and that's the concept of the mindfulness, and we are talking about don't worry about the future. So there are three dimensions of the happiness. If you don't regret about the past, be happy with today and don't worry about the future. If you practice these three things, probably you are a happy person always. And that's the concept of the happy aging. And particularly that's true for the people we are in at this particular age. We are talking about, there are two aspects of the happiness. That the last point I'm talking about, the cognitive and the emotional aspect. Both the things are equally important. One is the left side of the brain. That's what we're talking about, the intellectual side of the brain, the rational side of the brain. And we are talking about the emotive aspect, that's the right side of the brain, and that's the intuitive side of the brain. What happens is, my right side says, be happy. My left side says, I cannot be happy because I am sick. My rational brain will say that I am sick, I am not well today, how can I be happy? My right brain will say that I should be happy because if I don't remain happy, I will not be happy. So there is always a conflict between the cognitive side and the emotional aspects. A good person, a happy person, a nice person is one academically who understands that whatever may be your cognitive brain, whatever may be your intuitive brain, you must try to become a balanced personality. And that balanced person will become a happier person rather than an unhappy person. What happens is that we find people that are extremely cognitive. If you look at the atheists per se, they're extremely, they work in the actually left side of the brain. They're very rational. They think. They ask questions why. Why should I believe in God? Why do we believe in God? Because I am not able to see God. Then why do we believe in God? Nobody can prove in the world that the God exists. Then why do we believe in the God? So we always say that the atheists by and large they apply to the left side of the brain. The intuitive side of the brain says God may exist, God may not exist. Because we cannot explain certain things with our rational thinking. And therefore there is always a fight between the emotional side of the brain and the cognitive side of the brain. A balanced personality is one. And that's possibly we talk about the semi-believers or the agnostic persons are talking about. Essentially, a person like a Buddha, for example, that you are talking about a balanced personality. So the balanced personalities are better personalities because balanced personalities actually they become happier person because they try to balance between the rational thinking and the emotive thinking. Now, it's very difficult because certain persons by nature they operate from the left brain. There are certain persons who operate primarily from the right brain. That means they are more intuitive. So therefore we see certain persons are very rational. We also see there are certain persons that are intuitive. Why I am trying to say this in today's context is that you try to see which brain you operate from. Different people are different altogether. We might have done a Mentimeter which Prakash suggested, I told there is no time, but we wanted to do a Mentimeter today to find out that how many people actually operate from the left brain and how many people actually operate from the right brain. But the fact of the matter remains, there are some people who operate only from the left brain, there are certain people who operate from the right brain. But a good person is one, a happier person is one who tries to operate from both the brains together, and that's a balanced personality. That's what I'm talking about, the slide number 3 here, that you're trying to become a balanced personality. It's a difficult thing because you can't change your personality. It's not too difficult also because if you know that you're thinking from the left side of the brain, try to also think from the right side of the brain. If you think that you're only an intuitive person, an emotional person, you try to think from the left side of the brain also. Try to ask the question rationally also. And you will see over a period of time, you will try to become a balanced personality. And balanced personality we see in the world, the happier person rather than the rational person or rather than the emotive person. Because the emotive person starts crying. ऐसा क्यों हुआ? मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों होता है? बाकी के साथ क्यों नहीं होता है? That's the emotional side of the brain. That is the intuitive side of the brain. The left side of the brain says, it happens. That's a part of life. It happens with him also. It happened with her also. It can happen with anything in the world. वर्ल्ड में जो आया है उसको जाना ही पड़ेगा. अस्तित्व नहीं ऐसा सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता. जो आया है उसको जाना ही है. So this is a part of life. That's the rational part of the brain we see. A balanced personality will think both the things and then move forward. We have a lady with us in our MRLF Foundation. I won't say the name. She's a lady, she's an 87-year-old lady. She has lost her husband. She has lost her child. But she's a happy person. What keeps her happy, I don't know. I have no clue what keeps her happy. But she's a happy person. She dances, she sings, she stays with her son-in-law, she's a well-to-do person. She doesn't have a financial problem. I'm only talking about the emotional problem. But she remains herself, she keeps herself extremely busy. She is the president of a senior citizen association of a particular club. She is also a very good friend of ours. But she keeps herself busy, and the moment you look at her, you talk to her, you never know that lady has lost her husband, the lady has lost her child. She has lost her daughter out of cancer. She has lost her husband. But still she keeps herself, tries to keep herself busy and happy to the world. That's the type of the persons we're talking about who is a balanced personality. That's the person I'm talking about who is actually a person we need in the world to be more and more. Negativity does not pay. That's what I'm trying to say through this slide. Negativity doesn't pay anything in the world. Why happiness? Because opposite of happiness is negativity. Opposite of happiness is unhappiness. And unhappiness, the other word of unhappiness is negativity. Negativity doesn't pay anything. Negativity is a withdrawal symptom. You withdraw from the world. You know, negativity, the first thinking is that people don't like me. I am not wanted. I am not desired. Well, he doesn't talk to me. She doesn't talk to me. My child doesn't talk to me. My daughter doesn't talk to me. You know, a lot of people, a lot of old people say, my daughter doesn't talk to me. My child doesn't talk to me. My son doesn't talk to me. That's what we're talking about. The withdrawal system starts. So you withdraw from the world. You withdraw from everybody. You stay with the alone. And the moment you start with alone, that's what the loneliness comes in. Loneliness is not remaining alone. Remaining alone is totally different from loneliness. You can be with the people, still you can be lonely. You can be with the people, you can be with the entire family members, but still you can be lonely. You can stay alone, but still you can be with the people. You are not lonely. So alone has nothing to do with loneliness. Loneliness is a state of mind. Unhappy people feel lonely. They feel people don't like it. They feel the world is not good. World is not sweet. They don't go anywhere. They stay to themselves. They remain confined to themselves. That's what we're talking about. Anxiety, withdrawal, the cognitive disorder, a lot of frustration. There's not about a lot of frustration. So negativity gift doesn't live up to anything. If you look at the slide, why I've done this slide, I did not want to prepare this particular slide, but I thought I could prepare this particular slide because that's what the negativity gives it. And that's what the core of unhappiness is all about. Nobody wants this. Nobody in the world wants that I would be away from the world. You know, a lot of elderly people today, I don't know, I do a lot of social work outside the city of Bombay. I still remember it's about more than 10 years ago, we did a work, we constructed a school in one of the tribal villages of Maharashtra, which is in the Shahpur district, which many of you know this about, about an hour's drive from here. And Shahpur district has got a village, which has got a Kharpada. And the village has got three nodes, Kharpada 1, Kharpada 2, Kharpada 3. We set up a village, we set up a school there. The school was there, but we modified the school there on behalf of Education Institute where I worked. We did a study. We talked to the elderly people there, we did a study because just wanted to see how the people are. You will not believe me. I'm coming to the unhappy people. You won't believe me. People, elderly people, I'm talking about people at the age of 60, 65, 70, because elderly villages they don't live long. It's a wrong notion to say that elderly people are healthy and they live long. They don't live long. So I'm talking about the elderly people at the village at the age of 65, 70, they're all tribal people. They have nothing to do. The children have all gone to Bombay. They have nothing to do. They stay outside their village के जो अपना छोटा रूम है उसके बाहर में बैठ के बगल में ओल्ड गाय खड़ी है बकरा खड़ा है they are staring at the sky. They are staring and staying blind. ऐसे देख रहे हो. हमने पूछा कि माँ जी आप ऐसा क्यों देख रहे हैं क्या देख रहे हैं जवाब ही नहीं देते ऐसा करके देखे में नीचे कर लिया. This is example of the people who are really unhappy, withdrawn, anxiety, frustrated, nothing to get in the world. Nothing to get in the world. They have nothing. The children are not there. Just husband and wife that are sitting and staring to the world. आप देखिए अजीब लगेगा आपको. मैंने जब पहली बार देखा उन लोगों को बहुत अजीब लगा देख के. But then I saw when I went to some of the villages, I saw the life is the same. And that is the unhappy aging. A classic case of unhappy aging, that cognitively and emotionally you become totally withdrawn from the world. And therefore nobody wants to become like that. None of us wants to become like that. Therefore I'm talking about negativity does not do anything, it is better to be happy. Yeah. Having talked about this, a little bit giving a background, I don't want to create what you call a very serious climate over here, very withdrawn climate over here. Let me try to say that some of the strategies which we see that the people have been following. One thing you must remember. This is an academic theory, the first slide. It's an academic theory, but important theory. The theory is the theory of stimulus and response. We always say stimulus and response. That's a theory, a management theory. Theory says that if you will in life, you will get always a stimulus. On stimulus, you don't have a control. Somebody hits you. Somebody kicks you. Somebody dies in your family. Somebody dies, you're close to your family or dies. That's a stimulus I'm talking about. Or I will say, suddenly you fall down. That's a stimulus. And you don't have a control on the stimulus because the stimulus is habit. Stimuli we talk about. Stimuli they do happen in the world. Some stimulus are a good stimulus. You know, you get a very excellent mark in the 10th class. That's a very good stimulus. Or a child becomes a merchant navy or a chief engineer, you become an extremely good stimulus. So you become extremely happy. So we are not talking about a good stimulus and good response. But I'm talking about the stimulus is bad stimulus. Stimulus is not a happy stimulus, but the response is in your hand. If you respond unhappily to an unhappy stimulus, you remain an unhappy person. But if you decide that you let the stimulus be bad, still you respond in a matured way, may not be in a happy way. Because the stimulus is bad, but if you respond to that particular stimulus in a matured way, possibly the effect of the stimulus can be minimum. That's the academic point I'm trying to say. So we always say in academic situation that you think of a stimulus. आपके family के कोई near किसी का death हो गया. The stimulus is extremely bad. You have to be unhappy. I mean, you can't say that किसी का death हो गया आप रोएंगे नहीं. हम नहीं वो नहीं बोल रहे. हम क्या बोल रहे हैं कि अगर आप सारा जिंदगी रोते रहेंगे, उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. That's what we're talking about. That you don't have a control on the stimulus, but definitely you have a control on the response. That the slide becomes important. तो लाइफ में एक चीज जरूर याद रखिएगा कि स्टिमुलस के ऊपर हमारा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है. कोई कंट्रोल नहीं होता स्टिमुलस के ऊपर. कब क्या स्टिमुलस होगा? अगर ये गिर गया तो भागेगी. Stimulus is this on which we don't have a control. So therefore in a room we see that how many exit gates are there. The moment you enter into a hall like this, we see how many exit gates are there. The reason is if there is a fire accident stimulus, if there is a false stimulus, if there are more number of gates, probably exit routes are more. You must have seen that when we go to a flight, they show the exit routes. They always show the safety measure, the exit routes. The reason is if the stimulus is something bad, how do you cover that stimulus? So you don't have a control of the stimulus, but how do you have a control on the response is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So please, we say that one must learn to have a matured response to any adverse stimulus. One must learn, let me repeat, one must learn to have a matured response. A matured response to an adverse stimulus on which you don't have a control. On which you don't have a control. Because stimulus आते रहेगा जिंदगी. जब जिंदगी है ऊपर नीचे होता रहता है. जब जिंदगी है उसके ऊपर नीचे आएगा ही आएगा. कोई भी जिंदगी ऐसा नहीं बीतता है. कोई भी जिंदगी ऐसा नहीं होता है. किसी की भी जिंदगी आप सोच लीजिए. आप अपनी जिंदगी सोच लीजिए, अपने बच्चों की जिंदगी सोच लीजिए, किसी की जिंदगी आप देख लीजिए, ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है. ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है. ऐसा ही हुआ है. जिंदगी is like this. It is a graph. And if it is a graph like this, if it is a graph of a, we call it a trough and a crest. Crest and a trough की अगर बात करते हैं तो कहीं कहीं पे जब एक crest होता है, there's a good stimulus. जब पे आपका down होता है, there's a bad stimulus. How do you respond to that bad stimulus? That extremely makes a difference. So a good mature person is one. A happier person is one. The lady example which I gave, the death of her husband, the death of her daughter is actually an adverse stimulus. But still she is happy because she chose to happy. So you can remain to be happy. So how to respond to an adverse stimulus becomes extremely important. Next point is obviously very clear. 2 points I am talking about. That healthy hygiene is extremely important. If you do not keep yourself physically fit, if you do not keep yourself mentally fit, you can never have an happy aging. And it's absurd to have an happy aging. It's an absurd to think in today's world that I will say I will keep not myself physically fit and I will not keep a mentally agile. What you do is your choice. Whether you walk, whether you run, whether you swim, whether you drive a car, it's your choice. That's your choice. Whether you play a game or whether you keep yourself mentally agile, whether you do like this to keep yourself agile, whether you do some adverse accident to your body to keep yourself mentally agile, वो आपका choice है. लेकिन जब ये आप याद रखिएगा, जब तक आप अपने को फिजिकली फिट नहीं रखेंगे, जब तक आप अपने को मेंटली अजाइल नहीं करेंगे, आप योगा करेंगे, आप मेडिटेशन करेंगे, आप क्या करेंगे, माइंडफुलनेस मेडिटेशन करेंगे और दूसरा मेडिटेशन, वो आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट एट ऑल, but I am talking about unless until you keep yourself physically fit and unless until you keep yourself mentally fit, I mean, you cannot have a healthy aging. It's an absurd to talk about an aging for a person who does not do these things. You know, it's an absurd thing actually, that if you don't do anything. So please remember, this is a very small point, but this is an extremely important thing, that one must keep a physically fit and one must keep a mentally agile. So mental agility, some sir told that he reads books. That's a good point. So you can keep a book, you can do anything to keep yourself mentally agile. But what I am talking about is that you must keep yourself mentally agile. How much time? Choice is yours. I personally believe what the researchers say I am talking about. What the researchers say. The research, of course, there are different type of researches which give a different studies, because they have done among different types of the people at different points in time. But by and large, the research says, by and large, I am talking about research says, that if you do 1 to 1.5 hours exercise for 5 days a week, 1 to 1.5 hours of exercise 5 days a week, I am talking about, not the 7 days a week. And if you are talking about at least 2 hours of mental exercises, 2 hours of mental exercise per day, I will say you cannot keep yourself physically fit and mentally fit. But that's a basic thing actually, that if we are really talking about a happy aging or a healthy aging, I am saying you must keep yourself physically fit and mentally fit. Last point is extremely important. Whenever we talk about aging, we talk about a triangle. We talk about an isosceles triangle. And we talk about an isosceles triangle, we talk about the 3 sides of the triangle. One side we say the physical agility, we talk about the mental agility, and finally we say social connectivity. One must have a social connectivity. That is extremely important. If you don't keep a social, it's like this. You may say anything. If you don't talk to the people, I mean, say, there's some problem which is going to happen to other day. We see a lot of people who don't talk. It doesn't make any sense. There is some problem with the person. If a person doesn't talk, there is some problem with that person. It's medically even true that if a person doesn't talk, there is some problem with the person. So I think keeping socially agility is extremely important. So whether we are talking about a laughing club, whether we are talking about a walking club, whether we are talking about a senior citizen association, I think you must become a member of some association and start talking to the people. I mean, they're talking to anybody. If nobody is in a house, talk to your next neighbor. Take to a security guard. Talk to the maid servant who comes to a place. But talk and talk. Just like we say walk and walk, similarly we say talk and talk. I think talking is an extremely important thing after a particular age. It becomes extremely, using the word again, they become extremely important in age. You may not talk to your children, you may not talk because you may not have a chance to talk to them, but talk to the people whom you can talk to. Talk to anybody you can talk to, talk nonsense, but talk to. That's the importance of talking. And talking has a tremendous amount of importance. You will spend energy, that's a different thing altogether. But I will say the advantages of talking is extremely important from the aging angle. And the statistics are 1 second proof, again and again the people have talked to more, they have lived longer. I'm giving a research finding that the people who have talked more, they live longer. And there's another advantage of talking more, that if you talk more, there's a possibility that you'll die talking more, so you will die very lessly. That also happens. So you die on the stage. People like us. You will die on the stage, you will talking. So what I'm talking about, the talking, the social connectivity. So social connectivity, different connotation. People say social connectivity only means talking to children. No, not at all. Talking to grandchildren, not at all. If you can talk to them, nothing like that. But there is no joint family nowadays. So talk to anybody whom you can talk to. Just pick up the phone and talk to your old friend. Just pick up a telephone and pick up an old friend. Anybody you can talk about. But I'm talking about talking is extremely important. See, I talk less in the house, my wife will say, but I talk outside extremely well. My colleague Suma will say there. Then I talk extremely, I talk to all my colleagues every day. Every day I talk about, maybe talk about 2 hours, 3 hours a day I talk. Yesterday I had a meeting where I talked about, let's say, about 50, 60 of my very, very senior colleagues, very, very senior people. I talked to them. For about 2 hours I was just talking and talking and talking. And I enjoyed. I thought I have become 5 years younger. I become 5 years younger. I think talking is important. Lakshmi Babu is an example. She talks and talks and talks in society and you understand. So what I'm talking about is, you're talking and talking with examples. So why is one example? Yes, she talks and talks and talks. So a lot of people, Prakash, what I'm talking about, I give my training to my own staff. He was telling me that I give my training to our staff, talking and talking. So I think people who don't talk, they must develop a habit of talking. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, it's the funny side of it. Now, the longevity of women is more than by 5 years by men.
Yes.
Okay, so is it because they talk more?
Yes. Because one of the reasons. One of the reasons they talk more, and therefore the longevity of women, any part of the world is a little bit more in India. It's about 21.5 years in India today, in the 69 years of men. In India I'm talking about. But everywhere, any part of the world, barring a few countries of the world, out of 195 countries of the world, roughly about 185 countries of the world, the longevity of the women is a little bit more than men. And one of the reasons is they are working hard. The physical exercises are more. The mental exercises are more because they take care of the children, so the mental exercises are also more, and simultaneously they talk more. The social connectivity is more. As they talk, they're social, they talk to the maid servant, they talk to the people, they talk to the children more. My wife spends about an hour every day talking to the children only. I told her, why, what are you talking so much? I cannot talk to my child for more than 2 minutes, and she talks for 1 hour. So I'm talking about, so they're talking more. So one of the reasons of the ladies is basically they talk more. And my college campus where I stay in the senior room, I see girls, young girls like they talk more than the boys. So that could be one of the reasons they live more. One of the reasons. Finding ikigai of life, and thinking about the Swamiji talked about ikigai is purpose. So basically, if you find a purpose of life, there is no point in living. You know, if we use the word nowadays, we talk about retirement anxiety. A lot of people talk about the retirement anxiety. Kal kya karu? Kal kya karu? I think I was talking to a person about 10 days before. About 10 days before a person I was talking about. The person asked me a question that मैं उनको बोला आपको बहुत पैसा कमा लिया, जाइए छोड़िए, क्यों काम करते हैं? तो बोले कल से क्या करूँ अगर ऑफिस नहीं जाऊँ तो क्या करूँ? That's the retirement anxiety. It's a very serious retirement anxiety everywhere in the world, but particularly in India, it's not a financial anxiety. It's not a financial anxiety. It's another type of anxiety. So we use the word what is called retirement anxiety. So the retirement anxiety can only be removed if there is a purpose of life beyond retirement. That is what we are talking about ikigai, a purpose of life beyond your retirement. Purpose of life beyond your job. That's what I'm talking about. Purpose of life beyond any purpose. Any purpose. But I'm not talking about any specific purpose. It can be reading a book, it can be painting, it can be drawing, it can be singing a song, it can be community serving, giving back, it can be anything I'm talking about. It can be jhadu in your community, whatever you can do. Purpose. But a purpose of life is extremely important. Many of the people, they lose their purpose of life after retirement. They don't know what to do. Till listening to many talks like this, reading many books, talking about ikigai is a Japanese book, which means purpose of life. So I need to say but still they do not find a purpose. It's a tragedy. Because I think that this purpose, if there is any audience in this room who doesn't have purpose of life after retirement or is about to retire doesn't have purpose, I would personally urge to them that please find a purpose of your life. And I cannot find purpose for your life. You need to find out yours. कि आपकी जिंदगी की मकसद क्या है? स्वामी जी ने बोला जो मैंने नहीं किया था जिंदगी में पहले वो करो, वो आपकी मर्जी। आप भरतनाट्यम डांसर करना चाहते तो नहीं बनिया, भरतनाट्यम सीखना सीखिए, वो आपकी मर्जी है। आप क्या करेंगे आपको को डिसाइड करता है, लेकिन आपको एक लाइफ का पर्पस जरूर होना है। एक मत करिए, दो पर्पस ढूंढिए। बट व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट पर्पस और पर्पसेस ऑफ लाइफ, unless and until one is the purpose of life, one cannot live longer. It's just not possible. हमारे सामने गोपाल बाबू साहब बैठे हुए, इतना अच्छा म्यूजिक बजाते हैं। नहीं, उन्होंने म्यूजिक वाले सब बाहर के साइंटिस्ट हैं, वो उसका बहुत बड़ा कंसल्टिंग किया डॉक्टर साहब ने, उसका अभी वो म्यूजिक में इतने बड़े, उनके पर्पस ऑफ लाइफ, आई थिंक वन ऑफ द पर्पस ऑफ लाइफ इज म्यूजिक. If you listen to music one day, you must keep this music over your day, keep this music instrument. You will be surprised to see that how a scientist can play such a music. That is what I am talking about, finding out your purposes of life. And nothing is unachievable in the world. See, okay, if you say my purpose is to go to Mount Everest, yes, it's an unachievable life. That could be an achievable life. Or if I say that I will go to Badrinath, Kedarnath, जाऊंगा 80 साल में, तो maybe it's an achievable life. क्योंकि वहां जाते जाते शायद आपका काम खत्म हो जाएगा. That may be an achievable life. So purpose of life should be realistic. Purpose of life, what you can do now, purpose like me, आप suddenly बोले भरतनाट्यम डांस से purpose of life मतलब ये होता है. भरतनाट्यम का भी पता नहीं, नाच का ये पता नहीं है. अब मैं बोलूँगा भरतनाट्यम डांस से मेरा purpose है, ये मतलब नहीं होता है. So I will say purpose of life is yours. You find out a purpose of life. You find out what means meaning to your life. What you want to do. What you are passionate about, what you can do. That's also important. You know, talking about a purpose of life which you cannot do. So what you can do. जैसे मेरा अभी मैं वाइफ को बोलता रहता हूँ अभी मेरा पर्पस लाइफ अभी भी I am about 75. My next purpose of life. I do a lot of social work and be told, but that's one purpose of life. My next purpose of life is to learn about astronomy. And I'm very badly searching about somebody in this room that give me some guidance about how to learn astronomy. I'm ready to buy a telescope. I can buy a telescope for social purpose also. Money is not an issue. But I am seriously interested in astronomy. Very seriously interested in astronomy. That is now next, my journey of life will be looking at space. So what I am trying to say is that you must find out the purpose of life. It can be anything. But unless and until you find a purpose, that doesn't make any sense. Positive attitude, I already talked about. Laid attitude, somebody has talked about already, the move towards from attachment to detachment. It's an extremely difficult thing, but unless and until you move towards that, nothing will happen. It's mine, my child is mine, my beta is mine, my house is mine. It doesn't make any sense. The beta is not your, beta is wife's. It doesn't make any sense. If you think if the son is your son, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But it doesn't make any sense at all. So come out from the thing of mind. It belongs to you. Nothing belongs to you. Everything belongs to somebody else. You are only trustee of everything. And everybody knows about you. Nothing you are brought by, nothing you are going to believe, nothing you are going to go away. So nothing belongs to you. So there is nothing great in talking about sense of attachment, detachment. I am talking about as we become senior, possibly the sense of detachment becomes all the more important to us. We must become more of a mentor rather than become and move from action to wisdom. There is nothing big in it. Last 2 points that I must try to give back to the society, because that's these 2 points are extremely important from a life purpose angle. That I must understand that society has given me much. It's time for me to give back to the society. At least a bit. How much I will give, I don't know. Whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, I leave it to you. It all depends upon आप देना चाहते कि नहीं देना चाहते, propensity and how much you can give. Propensity to give and amount to give. That all depends upon you. Whether you want to give your time. I don't know whether you know about it. There's a concept called Switzerland. This is called time bank concept. The time bank concept is like this. I just tell you the time bank concept. The time bank concept is like this. That every child here is supposed to spend some time with elder people. And what is the amount to spend, that is credited in the bank account. So when you become the old, the other child is supposed to give some time, same time to you. So whatever you are credited in an account is once again debited by somebody else. So that is also giving back time. That means spending time with elder people I'm talking about. That's also giving back. So whatever you want to give back, what I'm trying to say, give back doesn't mean only in terms of money. You can give back in terms of anything. You're teaching somebody, until a child that's Prakash was talking about, that's also giving back. But please give back to the society. My wife has suddenly given back to the society. You know, it's a good idea that what she has done is that the house, हमारे घर में जो काम करती है, वो 9th या 10th फेल किया उसने, लेकिन वो बच्ची बहुत पढ़ने में वो है, इच्छा है, वो बोलती है that मेरे my parents did not teach me at all, and therefore I am very angry with the parents. So she has committed now that she will make her 10th examination. So we have done the National Institute of Open School Jobs, उन्होंने 10th admission, अभी कराया उसका admission, हो गया admission, उसके बाद में अभी पढ़ने का वक्त है. My wife is going to help her. So what I am talking about that essentially I am talking giving back to the society. I have nothing to do with the rate. She is hardly working with us hardly for a period of 1 month. But this is the part of the living society. The society has given me education, and somebody wants an education. Why not I give an education? अरे भाई इसमें क्या बड़ा चीज है? अगर उसको 5,000 फीस दो तो मैं अच्छा दे देता हूँ. क्या बड़ा चीज हो गया 5,000 में? आप बताएं 5,000 में क्या बड़ा चीज होगा? Nothing is going to happen to me if I give 5,000 rupees for the education of somebody. Nothing is going to happen, but at one person smile of one person lip will be there, and the smile in the lip of one person is miles bigger than all the smiles which I have put in my life. And therefore, giving back to the society is extremely important thing, and sense of gratitude. I think that's very important. You know, I must be gratitude for everything. I must be gratitude for Garage that I'm standing here. I must gratitude to this hotel that they are providing with house there. I must be gratitude to Almighty that I'm seeing today the age, this life today. I must say I must say gratitude for every small things and big things of life. It's not only the big things, not only giving gratitude to the God, but also gratitude to everyone. Gratitude to the smallest person in the world possibly is more important today. Because once I create a world where everybody expresses gratitude for every good thing, the world becomes a kinder world. The world becomes a happier world then. So that's what I'm talking about, the sense of the gratitude. I don't want to go into it. This is the, I think this is the, I will not go into the slide. I think Prakash you can show the slide. They are simple slides because of the shortage of time. We're looking at the watch. So I am only giving you the 3 last quotations. These quotations are taken from the house where we stay. We stay in old age home. Myself and my wife have chosen to stay in old age home. We stay in an old age home. And these are 3 quotations which are taken from the same old age home. These are the quotations. These are extremely important quotations. You are as old as you feel. So it's not an age which is important. You are as old as you feel. You may be 10 years old, you may feel 70 years old. You may be 75 years old, I feel I'm 50 years old. So you are as old as you feel. Celebrate all old age. Many people don't reach there. Many people die before they are 69. I'm 75, so I'm celebrating my life. I live my full life. I don't mind dying tomorrow. Celebrate the old age. And finally, choose to be happy rather than unhappy. Choice is yours. Thank you very much.
What a great talk. And now, all of you asked him to why he is the mentor for all senior citizens in Navi Mumbai. He is the pride of Navi Mumbai and the family. So, Dr. Sengupta and Mrs. Sengupta. So, we will actually, he has been doing this. Why I quoted MRL? Because I have seen his work there. And 380 senior citizens, he has brought smiles to each one of them. And you see, over a period of 4 years, as I told you, I have to see some of them. Modiji here is more than 80. But he looks younger, now he looks 70. And the whole credit goes to MRL and the work they are doing. Okay? And once again, a big clap.
Sir, I am very blessed. One line is very important. To live in the present.
Live in the present.
It is beautiful. I am talking to you. That is the moment of life, moment of happy.
That's a moment. I agree. Nothing is going to happen tomorrow.
Yes. So that is the, I think so for us, that is the basic, important thing to live in the present.
I agree with you.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody should live in today's, just today's,
Present, this one.
This moment.
This moment.
अभी मेरे को शाल मिलने वाला है।
Yes. You can invite, sir.
आगे मिला बोल गया। I am guest.
मुझे नहीं मिल रहा है।
Yes, sir.
It is a small token of